Sometimes we're not real good at paying attention, are we? Hey friends, Andrew Carruthers from The Journeyist, MBIT coach and MBIT coach trainer. And today we are going to continue to answer the question, the hell is a neural integration constraint? So if you watched the previous video, we've already mentioned that a neural integration constraint, or a NIC, is just really simply something that is keeping us from tapping into the body's different intelligences, and more importantly, keeping us from integrating that into our wisdom. Today we're going to talk about two of them that are kind of similar with one big difference, but one is when one intelligence dominates everything to the exclusion of all the other intelligences. And the second one is when one intelligence, or maybe even two intelligences, jumps in and just completely swamps the others. So the first one, which is when one intelligence is dominating to the exclusion of all others, what that means is we're only operating from one intelligence, and we're pretty much unconscious of the communication from any of the other intelligences. A common one is when the heart's emotional intelligence and its need for personal connection becomes so strong and so loud that everything else doesn't exist. So there's no kind of practical common sense from the mind. There's no sense of deep self from the belly. It's really just about pure emotion and other people's needs. And since there is no connection to the other intelligences, we become kind of unconscious that maybe we're even out of balance. It just becomes so normal to operate from that sense of purely just emotional context. And with the second one, when we say that something is swamping or overriding the other intelligences, the little difference here is that we are conscious of the communication from the other intelligences. It's almost like one becomes a real bully and starts pushing all the other intelligences around. The gut can do this when it's really charged up and just wants to kick into action. The head brain might be talking about, hey, let's slow down here, let's get a few more facts about the situation. The heart might be resisting because it hasn't made context with its sense of core values. And believe it or not, the gut can almost swamp itself because the gut could also be having an intuitive hit that maybe we should hold back. And yet that really deep, intense drive to just take action overrides and swamps everything else. And this is where people can be very impulsive. In the last video, we talked about a couple of steps to help to integrate the other intelligences, so you can go back and check that out to help also with these neural integration constraints. But one that we need to add, I think especially for these two, is we have to cultivate a sense of deep self-trust. Now for some, the gutsy, action-oriented kind of people, they might say, well, I have a lot of self-trust, I have a lot of self-confidence, but we're not trusting in a way that we're trusting the other aspects to be true as well. My longtime coach, Lynn Christian at Soul Salt Inc., if you want to learn about self-trust, I think she is one of the best at talking about self-trust. She actually did a whole series on it recently on her social, so you can go check her out. But really for self-trust, we need to cultivate the time and space to intentionally spend time with ourselves and intentionally look to these other intelligences so we can really find out what they have for us and start to trust that they are also right, so that one doesn't just override or swamp or completely rule out all the others. So hopefully this helps you to identify some places that you may be blocking yourself from really tapping into a deeper wisdom that honestly is always there for you if you're willing to look for it. And as always, you can, maybe reach out to a coach. Did I mention I'm a coach? And if you've been watching these videos, you're probably sick and tired of me saying this, but for those of you watching this for the first time, you can always find me on social media and reach out to me that way, or you can go to my website, thejourneyistlife.com. And I love to be a little bit cheeky about the whole hire me as a coach thing, but honestly, you are welcome to reach out to me anytime, regardless if you're looking for a coach or not. I am happy to be a resource to every single one of you, and I'll do my best to always direct you in the right direction. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Andrew Carruthers from The Journeyist, and I will see you next week with another version of... What the hell?